Live from the legendary podcast bus in sunny California, it's America's funniest new podcast.
Oh my God, what did you do?
Pretty happy about it. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
Good.
We think it's funny. And now, here are your hosts, Mark Schiff and Daniel Nobel.
Welcome, everybody, to a regular episode of We Think It's Funny. Isn't that what we got here? A regular?
No, it's not a regular episode. I told you a million times. I'm going to play a song for you, okay?
Okay.
Tell me what this episode's going to be about. All right? You ready? Should old acquaintance be forgotten? Now, it's not about
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's.
It's about dementia, yeah.
Yo,
Okay.
you beat me to it. There you go. That's why you get paid hardly anything. That's why we haven't made any money. Should old acquaintance be? You can't play that in an old age home, right?
Right.
Because they don't. Very sad. Happy New Year, Jew boy.
Happy New Year, Mark. You have any resolutions?
This is the one secular holiday or one of few that you probably celebrate, right?
I don't really celebrate it.
No.
No. Do
Okay.
you?
Let's end the show right now. Yes, I celebrate New Year's.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not for the reasons you think.
What do you think those reasons are?
They're just not for the reasons you think. I don't actually have reasons.
You don't have reasons for celebrating New Year?
Not the ones you think.
Well, what makes you think I think that?
Well, tell me a reason why you think I would celebrate
Because you like busting out the old leather chaps.
it. You guessed it. Yeah. Yeah. How did you...
One guess.
Why, it's unbelievable. Yes, I do like busting out the leather chaps and the hat, the special hat that...
And you like
the
blow it
place-
on like that thing.
So, Happy New Year to you. I wish you the best. I really do, for you and your beautiful family.
It's about
and
time. I've never heard you say that to me before.
Wish you the best. Or
You
Happy New Year?
always wished me the worst.
Yeah.
So what changed?
Well, wishing the worst is funnier than wishing the best. That's why I wish you the worst.
I feel like I wish... I don't want to say it, but I start feeling like I wish the worst on Dave Chappelle after that most recent special that he put out.
When did it come out?
Like 2 days ago. He
I didn't
put out
see
a
it.
very anti-Israel messaging, and I don't know. I felt it was very anti-Semitic. I think a lot of people felt that way. I think it'd be hard to argue that it wasn't.
What is it on? Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to wish him the worst. I
So
don't want to
let's say you
anybody
wish him the worst.
I'd like to wish him the best to come around to the best.
There you go. But if you had to wish him the worst, what would the worst be? And let's take death out of it.
I guess I'd put him on this show.
That could be the worst.
But I don't know. How do you feel about it all? Like, there's so much Jew hatred right now. Everywhere you look.
You know, Jews are the only people that can go from Happy New Year to Jew hatred in less than 4 sentences. I really wanted to talk about the New Year.
Right.
How do I feel about it? You know how I feel about Jew hatred. I hate it.
But this is maybe, in your lifetime, the worst it's ever been, right?
Yes.
Except when you were a kid with your own parents. But,
Yeah. Yeah, and the Nazi outfits they made me wear.
Right.
Yeah, I grew up, it was, I had a perfect childhood practically, you know, I mean, in the sense that there was no anti-Semitism anywhere where I was growing up. I lived in a Jewish neighborhood. People weren't getting beaten up and slapped against a wall, and synagogues weren't being blown up, and we didn't have security in front of synagogues. And
You were in the golden age of American Judaism.
Yeah. The war was over, and people liked Jews in Israel.
I was telling my wife that I think it never ends with, like, everybody just stops hating the Jews. It usually ends with, that country's Jews getting wiped out or expelled. It doesn't typically end with, like, and then the problem went away.
No.
Right? So...
It's a little harder now to wipe them out because the world can see in real time what's happening. During World War II, you didn't have real time.
I don't know if that matters. It didn't seem to affect October 7th very much, right? People were not that concerned about it. Right?
Yeah, they came out and started marching the same day, the day after, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we still have a pretty good life, a Jewish life here.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Still walk to synagogue, every week we're in my yarmulke, and, I know there are guards outside our synagogues in every synagogue, which I don't like to see.
Somebody told me the metaphor of the frog in the pot of water, where the temperature is gradually turned up, and then the frog doesn't realize until it's too late that he's being cooked. Do you think that's what's going on here?
Seems that way, yeah.
So, like, we think it's still okay, like what you're saying, like, you can still walk with the yarmulke, but, like, now there's guards, and now there's anti-Semitism, like, being spray-painted in the windows of Jewish
I don't want to be
businesses.
one of those people that go, I wish I really realized what was going on, because I do think like that. Am I being naive?
Mm-hmm.
But it's bad. It's bad. And with the new mayor, Mondumi, coming in, it's not going to get better.
Now, I've got a theory that he actually loves Jews.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't hear that from many people, but I think I'm going to
Except from him.
Yeah,
He
said,
actually...
I love Jews, except when they're, in
alive.
their... Yeah.
So, let's talk about New Year's. Can we go to that? Because that's really...
Yeah, let's do it.
So, New Year's, today is December 24th, so that we're doing this episode.
Right.
And tomorrow's Christmas. And to all those, it's going to be too late when you hear this, probably, but hope you had a merry and a happy and a healthy Christmas for you and your family. If you're not Jewish, if you are Jewish, you celebrate Christmas. Ashanda! No, wish everybody the best. I really do. And it's a great holiday, and it brings families together. Any holiday that brings families together is good.
What holidays bring families apart?
What holidays bring families apart? Election Day.
Is that a holiday?
Yeah, I think the banks are closed, and although they don't get together on Election Day, and
you could argue that Christmas brings families apart because they get together with their different politics, and then they wind up leaving more apart.
I think for the most part, most families still get together peacefully.
Do you think most people have a Christmas goose, or is that just from Ebenezer Scrooge story?
I've never, and I know a lot of people who celebrate Christmas never serve goose.
Where would you buy a goose? I've never seen it at, like, Trader Joe's or anything.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't eat goose. I don't have a goose down jacket. I don't have a goose pillow. Nobody goosed me at home.
If you weren't vegan, you think you'd go for a goose?
I go for the gander.
If you weren't vegan, I would start eating goose.
Really?
If you stop being vegan, I bet goose is delicious. I bet it's like duck, but on steroids. And that Tiny Tim got a whole goose.
Goose is like a rich goose, a rich
person's
duck.
food.
Yeah.
It's like a gout-causing
But they have goose
food.
pate is big.
Yeah, that's pretty awful what they do.
Is goose kosher?
Goose is kosher, I think. I don't think it's not kosher. But I've never seen a kosher goose.
You know the expression.
I've never seen a goose at a kosher meal or anything.
He got his goose cooked. You know that expression, right?
No.
Oh, that means he got in trouble.
Okay, he got his goose cooked.
Yeah, he cooked his own goose or something. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You've been on the road a lot lately. And got any good stories?
I was in Israel. I was in, Chattanooga and Cincinnati.
Weren't you in Memphis or something?
No, Chattanooga and Cincinnati. And Israel. Did 2 shows in Israel. Fantastic.
Yeah.
The one in Jerusalem, a lot of new people worked on the show who really didn't do stand-up, weren't very professional, but it was good to see young people coming up in Israel and trying it.
That's good.
And then we did a show in Tel Aviv. Michael Rappaport was there, and Yossi Tabulus was there.
What is Michael Rappaport talking about on stage?
Jews. He tells some very funny stuff, and then he really digs in about anti-Semitism and about what's going on in the world.
What's the funny stuff that he does?
There's a joke. He has a black wife, and he says she converted to Judaism, and being black is trouble enough. He goes, he said to her, you really want to couple this with being black, being a Jew too? It's like a double...
right.
So, very funny stuff. He talks about his career. The poor guy has suffered a bit. His work, he's not getting the work he deserves. And he's a tremendous actor.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember him in Copland with Stallone. I remember him as one of my favorite TV shows on Netflix called Atypical. Wonderful show. Just great.
He's been a loud advocator for Israel and for putting on tefillin, which is amazing.
Puts on tefillin.
Every day.
Every day. And then so we did those shows there. It was fantastic. And people just loved coming out, seeing comedy. And the war was over. I mean, when I say it's over, it's still kind of going in certain areas. But people felt, except for one body, they've got them all back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if they're going to get this guy back.
I hope so.
Yeah. But Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, too. What about Cincinnati or a chance Chattanooga?
I worked with Seinfeld there. We had fantastic shows, really, really fantastic. The first show in Chattanooga was terrific, but then we moved on to Cincinnati, and it was just fantastic. 2 audiences, just loving being out. You know, sometimes when you go into these smaller towns, not that Cincinnati's so small, but they don't get the amount of talent that you get in New York and Los Angeles and Chicago.
Right.
And so when somebody like a Jerry comes in there, man, they are so thrilled to see it.
Do you and Jerry do anything in the time that you're there not on stage? Do you go around the town? Do you?
We do some. We go to a restaurant and we get in the car. We always go to a movie.
Mm-hmm. What movie did you guys go to?
Funny thing is, we didn't go this time. This was maybe the first time I didn't go to a movie with him. Last time I was in Vegas, we went to the Sphere and saw
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz.
How was that?
It was beyond belief.
I gotta see that. But it's so expensive. The tickets are very
it's
expensive.
Like even Jerry complained. You know, when we went up to the box office, he said, "What?
Really?
No."
You got me there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah, but it was fantastic, especially the scene where everything is rumbling around the.
What's the silliest movie you and Jerry have ever gone to see? Do you ever go see like SpongeBob or something like that?
No, but many times we walk out on movies. We go, and then we leave because it's so bad, or we hate it so much, and that's as much fun as actually watching a good movie.
A good walkout.
Well, yeah, what we do is so we go to a very early screening when nobody else is there. So it's just 3 of us.
So nobody's there, literally.
Yeah, so let's say the first screening is noon. They'll screen for him at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
In the morning.
All right.
And we go there, and it's just 3 of us in the theater. So we can talk and be on our phones and yell at the screen and yell at the actor. That's not acting!
Yeah.
You're awful! And nobody bothers you.
Do you ever go with an audience or never?
No.
Because it would just be too much for him to deal with the mob of people that would.
It's a little more difficult, and it's just not as much fun because you can't talk and you can't get on your phone, you can't scream, you can't do any of that stuff. So, when we all agree to walk out, it's fine.
You probably won't want to talk about the ones you walked out on because you get.
I wouldn't mind if I could remember any of them.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember what we walked down on. Sometimes we're surprised by how good some of these movies are.
Let's go positive with it. What's a movie that you guys thoroughly enjoyed recently?
You know, I gotta be honest. I don't remember the name of it. We saw an Indian movie. A movie from India, which was like 2 hours and 45 minutes long, about this couple getting married, and it was just spectacular. We loved it. We'd never seen anything like it, but I can't remember any names. We're not good. Since I don't look forward to seeing these movies, they just go, "You're going today to see this."
Okay.
Then I go see it, then I leave, so I don't really remember what the name of the film is.
Okay.
Don't really pay attention. A movie I did see recently, which I thought was terrific, was the George Clooney, Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. It's really worth your time.
Okay.
Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Happy New Year to you.
So let's talk about the New Year. Let's talk about the New Year, okay there? How was you last year? I mean, so this is the question I'm going to ask you. What would you like to clean up from last year? What would you like to do better this year?
Almost everything. I like to, I've already, it's hard for me to even talk about this because I hate talking about my health, and it's especially when it comes to weight loss stuff because I failed so many times. I was just talking to our mutual friend who sponsors the show about this, Jeff Pfeffer, who's a great guy and a great guy to talk to.
Oh, you spoke to him recently?
I just spoke to him about this. I was telling him, I had such a fear of failing again. I don't even like to talk about it because I just feel like anybody who hears it thinks, oh, okay, well, he's going to do it this time. And then if I fail, I look worse in everybody's eyes. Like, he failed again. So there's a part of me that doesn't even like to talk about it anymore because it makes me, I don't know, like if I'm just have the problem, it's almost like different than in like, oh, he's trying and he's failing. But Jeff was saying don't think about it in terms of failing, but that's hard because all I've ever done is failed at it. So I don't know if I'm turning this into a therapy session when it's supposed to just be more of a fun New Year's conversation, but so yes, I'd really like to work on that more. I've taken some new steps. Hopefully I won't fail.
So what do you have to do to make these changes? Because in order to make changes, you have to have a something to do.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, if I want to write
Mm-hmm.
more, I have to sit down and write more. But what's going to get you to the to the place that you're going to make these changes?
I don't know. That's the problem.
What's the change you have to make? Like, is it eat too much food or bad food, types of food that?
None of that. I'm actually eating the perfect amount of really healthy food every day. But yes. Yeah, of course all that. But it's the mental part of it that's the hardest part for me, It's
Yeah. I listen, I understand. I'm an alcoholic.
mm-hmm.
So I'm sober a long time, but it's a brain disease. It's terrible. And it comes up with reasons why this time you should have this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I've been sitting in on these meetings. I told you last time for these Overeater Anonymous meetings.
The toe, you stuck the toe in.
I put my toe in.
Remember the toe?
I remember. Yeah,
we had the toe talk.
I know. I'm going to them. What I find the most helpful about it is the feeling of not being alone in the struggle. I haven't yet found anything that sounds like it's going to work for me, but I don't know. I think I have to put another toe in. I got to go a little more into it. I'm not talking during the meetings. I just listen. I put it on in the car and I mute it and I drive around and I listen. And
don't they talk about a higher power?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, of course, like talking about being powerless over something resonates a lot for me.
Of course, yeah, because we are.
Yeah. So, and they talk about the higher power and they read from the big book and then people share things. Not everything resonates with me, but enough of it does. What I find is most helpful, as I mentioned, is just not feeling like I'm the only one in this
world.
fight.
Yeah, sure, of course. Well, there's a saying: take what you want and leave the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everything you hear isn't going to work for you.
Right.
But when invariably, at any meeting, you might hear a nugget.
Right. So I do get nuggets.
And that can be life changing.
Yeah, I wish I could fast forward to the nugget, but
the nugget you can't. You
have to listen to a lot of stuff.
You have to crack the shell to get the walnut.
Right. So there's that. I'm also gonna get on. I was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder when I was 7 years old, and they put me on medication, but I didn't want to take it. I used to spit it out in the bushes, and
You kept it in your mouth all the way to the bushes?
Yeah.
It didn't melt?
No. I would put it like behind my lip, my upper lip, like between my tooth and my lip, so it wouldn't really melt. And then, when I was out of sight of like my parents or whatever, I'd spit it in the bushes. I didn't want to take it.
Do you notice the bushes paid more attention to you when you walked by?
Yeah, they're very, very focused bushes after that.
They were like wide awake every time you walk. Hey, Danny!
Yeah.
You got another pill.
So over the years, I've tried going on the medications as an adult and like taking Adderall. And what I find is like when I take Adderall, I have no appetite at all. I don't even struggle with the eating problem because I'm not hungry. I forget to eat for the whole day on Adderall, which is for me a good side effect, I think.
Yeah.
But I accomplish a lot more. I'm much more with it. It's like you put on glasses and all of a sudden the world is in high definition or something. But the problem is coming off of it is always so hard for me that I started drinking when I was on that, just because it would take down the harshness of coming off the medication.
What about the shot that everybody takes now?
I can't afford it.
You don't get it on your plan?
No.
I thought they lowered the price or something. Didn't Uncle Trump say that?
I don't know. I heard that, but I recently went to try and... There's a new one called Zepbound that the doctor said might be good for me, but they wanted $1,500 a month. I don't have that.
Right.
So unless it comes down more or something, I can't afford that option. But I think that somebody told me about a non-stimulant ADHD medication called Strattera or something like that. I'm going to try that because maybe that won't be so hard to come off of it. There's like a lot of things. I'll tell you what I did do well this year, because I think I could spiral into everything I'm disappointed in myself about, but I'd rather tell you something positive, is that I worked harder on my stand-up this year than I've maybe ever done since I first started. When I first started, I had that motivation of go hard. But I'd say even went hard for many years. But then when I started keeping Shabbat around 10 years ago or so, I kind of went into this doom and gloom about how am I going to have a career as a stand-up comedian when all the weekends are when you tour. And I fell apart and I stopped working hard on it. And this year I started working hard on it again.
How do you do that?
I dedicate time at least 2 or 3 times a week. I put an hour aside where I watch my videos. I try and come up with new material. I've been doing some phone calls with my buddy Al Lubell. I told you I was going to do that. He's like a therapist. He gets me talking, and when I start talking, I come up with ideas.
Right. And then how do you memorize them?
And then if he laughs, I know it's good.
Right.
No, I write it down. I write it down in a notebook. I'll tell him I have this idea for a bit, and I'll start talking through the bit with him. And as I start trying to explain it to him, I have to try and make more sense of it myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think a lot of that is because I have such immense respect for him that I want to sell him the idea so much. And I don't want to look like I'm having unfunny ideas.
Right.
So somehow it gets my brain to push past the block that it would normally stop at, where it's okay, I think you've conveyed the idea enough. It's no, you have to make it. So if I get Al Lubell laughing,
well, mazel tov, I'm working harder on it. That's an amazing thing.
Yeah, and then so I've been very not lackadaisical about the time on stage either. When I'm on stage, I take every minute very seriously, whereas I didn't necessarily used to do that.
Well, last time I worked here, you were just terrific.
Thank you.
We did that show. You got me down east
at the
Los
Zebra.
Angeles.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I love the Zebra. The Zebra is like my gym.
Great.
I go there to work out all the new stuff, and then if it does well at the Zebra, it'll do well anywhere, because that's an entirely sober audience. They don't. Mm-hmm. The owner of the Zebra is an AA guy. All the people who work the lights and the sound, they're all AA guys. There's no alcohol in the building. So the audience is completely sober. So if you do well there, take it to a big room where there's more audience and alcohol, you're going to kill. So that's a great gym for comedy. How about you? What didn't work and what did work this past year?
Well, it's funny you said about weight, and you're not going to believe this, but I was started to worry about my weight. I kept it off for a long, long, long time, many years, decades. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, it's insidious. I started nibbling on certain things that I'd never had for years. And before I know it, I gained 10 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's been a struggle getting off.
It's so hard.
It was easier the first time I did it. Mm-hmm. And it brings up feelings, like you said, of shame and fear and all that stuff. So I'm dealing with that. And hopefully this year, I'm looking forward to getting back on the train.
I wish you
Because I had a list of
yeah.
things every day that I would not eat.
I remember.
No pizza, pasta, bread, frozen yogurt, chips, dips, desserts, fried, licorice, overeating, sugar substitute, popcorn, or oil. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the list. So, I'll tell you what I added back in at that.
Sugar substitute.
No, let me. It started no pizza, pasta, bread, frozen yogurt. I added all 4 of those back in. No pizza, pasta, bread, frozen yogurt. Chips, dips, desserts, fried. I added all those back in.
Seriously?
Yep, every one of them.
But you threw out the veganism for the
No,
pizza?
no. I had pizza without the cheese.
Okay.
So I had the bread and all the, put vegetables and stuff. So it's still pizza, margarita, but no cheese. But I had pizza, pasta, bread, frozen yogurt, chips, dips, like, hummuses and things I never had for you.
Mm-hmm.
Dips, dessert, I started adding back in. Fried, every once in a while, I have some French fries. I don't go out my way to get them.
Right.
Oil, I started adding. I added every one of those friggin' things back in. And it started with adding just popcorn. I added popcorn, and that set the whole train a-running.
Yeah, it's, I know the feeling, because anytime I get clean with my eating, which for me means, what I realized is that if I can cut the carbs, then I do pretty well. Like, in terms of losing weight, in terms of feeling good. And then I realized I could even cut the carbs, but keep potatoes in, and I could be okay.
And you're dead in water.
No, but I'm saying once I do that, then I'll start doing rice. And rice,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
once you had one magnet, then two, then three.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
So, like, but I mean, like, if I strictly ate carbs and potatoes and I didn't, like, let it go any further than that, I'd do
right.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
I'm not against French
carbs.
fries. I mean, like a baked potato,
I'm not against carbs at all because I lost 50 pounds eating carbs.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, well, you better learn. Tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's one thing about me that I like to get back on track for. Where it's been really good is my writing. It's been really, really great.
Yeah.
I keep writing stories for the Jewish Journal every other week still. I know there was an issue there, but I keep writing there. I'm writing a movie with my friend Brian Ross, and we work on it 2-3 hours a day.
The Christmas movie?
Yeah, almost every day we write, like Monday through Friday.
That's great.
We can. And I'm very focused on that and on my articles and writing my stand-up. The problem is I don't spend enough time trying to memorize the stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to bring that back this year, work more on that. And 1,000 times better than it used to be, but I get angry too fast sometimes. I get snappy, like my wife will say something and it just set me off. And it's not her fault.
Right.
It's my fault because I have I let myself get. So I figure I'm getting better at it, but it's difficult.
How do you get better at not being angry?
So keep your mouth shut, and it'll pass. And I'm not talking about swallowing. She doesn't say things that are horrific to me, like you're a disgusting human being, and I wish you were dead. I mean, it's nothing.
Right.
Grief, but she'll walk into a room and say, you need to pick this up. Then she'll walk into another room and say, you got to take care of this. Supposedly I leave a trail of myself in every room.
I hear that too, yeah.
Every room I get into, you can tell that I was in there for... And she goes from room to room.
And you'd think that they would like that because they love us and that you were leaving a little bit of ourselves in every room.
In every room, yeah.
That would seem like a reason to be happy.
So there's no reason I should get angry about that.
When my wife asks me something more than one time in a minute, that gets me really upset.
Yeah.
Like, she'll say, can you take the garbage out? And I'm like, okay. And then within like a minute, she'll go, you're going to take the garbage out?
Yeah. So my wife, too, almost all women are timekeepers.
Uh-huh.
They know exactly how long junk has been sitting. She'll come in and go, that hat of yours has been on the dining room table for 3 days now. And,
that's right.
Yeah, she knows exactly how long things are in places they should be.
Yeah, we don't know.
See, my wife is Mary Poppins. She puts things away right away.
Mm-hmm.
And, she listen, God bless. And I need to realize this. Without her, my house would be condemned.
There should be a special like wing of the house. I guess people have a man cave or something.
I've asked for that. She won't permit me that. I said, listen, I have an office at home. Can I just pile up things the way? No, you can't, because she says people might go in there.
You know,
Nobody
these,
goes in there.
Beatniks or bohemians that have like these apartments and they have the girlfriends that I don't know. They seem pretty chill. Maybe they're always high or something. But there's piles of books everywhere and plants draped over the books and ashtrays. Like, how come I'd never met any woman who's into that?
Yeah, it's very hard. Well,
you know,
when you first start dating them, they put up with a lot of stuff. Then they, you know.
But
then they can.
You know what I'm talking about, like where like Ginsberg would live or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen, you know, but these writers that have 400 books on their desk and papers from here to the ceiling.
Yeah.
But you know, who knows what really goes on in their life? You know, I used to think that. I used to think I'd love to have a relationship like Lillian Hellman and Dashiell Hammett. These two writers. She wrote plays. And wonderful plays, and he wrote his books, and these people almost killed each other on a daily basis. They just fought like animals, and they were drunk all the time and throwing bottles around the house.
Yeah, okay.
So I said, maybe I don't want that.
Maybe not.
See, my wife's a good person. She wants what's best for, and women get embarrassed. I don't get embarrassed if somebody walks in the house and my coat is strewn over a dining room chair.
Well, what's embarrassing about it?
They get embarrassed. It's their home.
I know, but I'm from my perspective, and I suppose yours as well. I don't see why it's embarrassing. I don't know why they think it's embarrassing. People are going to be like, you know, I went to that house, and you wouldn't believe where the coat was?
Yeah. They're afraid of that.
Nobody thinks that way.
She tells me to keep rooms clean that nobody in the world goes into except for me and her.
But you know something, because you live with a woman, and I live with a woman. And we have been to other people's houses, and I've never heard my wife, and I guarantee you've never heard your wife say, can't believe where their coat was draped when we walked in.
Not the coat, but we have discussed people that have too much stuff.
Yeah, okay. Too much stuff is another story.
See, my wife, if there's 2 books on a dining room table, she considers that hoarding. And I should be on the show. I should be on the hoarder show. If she's also against me using too many napkins at each meal. She's a napkin watcher, and she holds up her napkin and shows me how clean her napkin is, and asks me to hold up my napkin to show what it looks like.
And you acquiesce?
My napkins usually look like there's a murder that took place in the room. It's just filthy and disgusting. It's like something you pull out of a sewer.
And you don't even eat anything. I don't know. Maybe just putting it all in the napkin.
Yeah. So
that's crazy. I
does
don't
your
know.
wife count napkins?
No.
Now,
but she does go crazy if I use her napkin. Like if there's a napkin on the table and it's her napkin, and there could be other napkins in the middle of the table. If I take her napkin, she goes crazy. I'm like, but there's a whole pile of napkins right over there. What do you care if I?
Want to get your wife really crazy?
Yeah.
Come out of the bathroom and tell her that by accident used her toothbrush. That will set off. Who's here?
We got Ami Kozak in here.
Ami Kozak is here.
Should we wrap this and start up one with him?
Yeah. Okay. Let's. We'll get back to it.
Or should we bring him into this? What do
Your call. Whatever you want. You want to bring him in?
Let's bring him in, and then we'll fill him in on where we're at, and then we'll do a cut. We'll do a cut.
Where someone crashes the party.
Welcome. All right.
Alrighty, boys. Where am I sitting?
We're talking about things that drive our wives crazy. And Mark mentioned that he has a napkin allowance.
My wife is a napkin spotter. She knows when I use more than one napkin, and how disgusting my napkin always looks as opposed to hers. She will hold up her napkin and say, "See this?
That's a flex." And my wife also says the exact same thing. Because what men do with the napkin, well, when we're eating, is squeeze and drop.
Yeah.
The squeeze and drop, like whatever's here, squeeze, and then you need whether we don't.
No. You're right.
Go, and drop, and drop.
Her napkin remains folded beautifully throughout the meal.
Yeah. So I'm wasteful, reckless with the napkins for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any things that you feel for this new year that you, looking back at the past year, that you did well, or things that you want to do better? That's the other thing we were talking about.
In general or in marriage?
In general, like, are there things that you want to work on, and are there things that you feel like
Marriage
you really...
falls into that too. Marriage too, because that's we're 3 married people and
Less mistresses. It caused a lot of problems.
No, you're not gonna really stop
It's just
that.
such a headache.
You're so good at it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Things I want to do well that I did that replicatable.
Well, we're
things.
saying, like, are there things in this past year that you feel like you really improved on or did well with, and are there things that you feel like I really want to work on?
So, for instance, he asked me that question. I said I wrote, I really was happy with the amount I wrote this year. So that was one thing. And then the other thing, we were talking about weight. And I gained 10 pounds this year, and I struggle with it. Even though I'm thin, I've dropped 50 a while ago, but I don't
It's
ever...
creeping back.
Creeping back.
Right.
So that's something I wasn't happy about, and I'm trying to fix. So that's kind of what...
And you came to me for weight loss advice.
Right. Well, so what's the advice from Mr. Lavelle?
Well, they say you start emulating the people you hang with.
Right.
Yeah.
So by next year, I should be up to, I don't know,
So we need an
1,700.
anorexic. You need an anorexic co-host. Balance things out here a little bit.
I need olive
It's
oil.
interesting you say writing. I would say that that's the area where you get to the point with. I do a lot of different things. So between comedy, music, content, podcasting, you reach a threshold where there's just not enough bandwidth to do everything and give everything its proper due. So for me, actually, the writing, I fell into that whole sort of trap of having stuff that works and just kind of when the gigs come in, you grab your set list. You're like, okay, cool. Let's get out there and do it. And you end up kind of channeling, reciting your lines for your act, and you lose its original funny.
Right.
And so I think that suffers from the lack of a writing regimen on a regular basis. So one thing I'd want to improve upon is making sure, just like fitness, I'm writing daily and generating new stuff. Because even when I'm generating new stuff, there's such a temptation to just do the tried and true.
Yeah.
And it just gets... you don't want to kick yourself too much. There's like an over-judgmentalism that happens but within oneself to your own work and to other people's work. And you're like, and this and this and this. And I think that's a problem too. Like, but you also don't want to lose sense of the craft and the standard where you want to be making sure you like, even just for your own sense of fulfillment, being funny. The best way to sell funny is to find something funny that you're doing in the moment. And it's hard to do that when you're doing stuff you've done 1,000 times. And forget just the audience's experience. I actually am not as precious about, they've heard it before, because everyone can hear a joke more than once. Comedians get a little too precious about that. But having a writing regimen in which I'm always on having something new to share with the audience that I think is funny, I would like to do more of that, because the other stuff also, it just happens to be in terms of doing weekly podcasts and putting out content and things like that. The writing element I want to integrate more to become part of that same thing. And the stand-up, to me, that's like some of the hardest work you do. It's very difficult.
Is that the only thing you write, is stand-up?
No, I mean, I guess you can consider making funny like Instagram videos and sketch stuff. I do a lot of sketch work as well, so that involves a lot of writing and improv and things like that, and editing and all those. It's multi-production skill sets that I'm applying.
Can you become great at something if you have more than one thing you're focusing on? Like how I got good at stand-up is that I didn't do anything else at the time that I started doing it. That was the only thing. If I was doing podcasting and stand-up and this and that, I wouldn't have gotten as good at stand-up.
I'd say it's all just a matter of degree. Like every field that you water, to the extent to which you work it, you'll get fruits from it. Sometimes,
you always put things into farming terms. What is that?
I've done that before, but it's sort of like if you don't do leg day at all.
Yeah.
At the gym, your legs will be skinny and weak. If you do it once a week, you'll have decent legs.
Yeah.
If you do it 3 times a week, you'll have bigger legs than anybody. So it's more of a hierarchy of priority. I do think the working all the creative juices helps. Podcasting once a week helps you with your verbal fluency and your improvisation. So that helps the comedy. That way, in a scenario where you can channel sort of your podcast voice on stage, you can be fluid and comfortable. And I see these things as all part of one creative body. In other words, they're not distractions from each other. As long as you're kind of helping nurse each thing and provide it with the proper nutrition, you can be helping. If I'm working on production or editing or things like that, it kind of sharpens your sense of timing and rhythm and watching yourself. The reason I can act in sketch comedy is because I did short form videos for years and I was always watching myself. And without even realizing it, my wax on, wax off moment was when I started editing and acting on camera. You see stand-ups that have never been in sketch before and you put the camera up on them and they freeze. They don't know what to do. It's so uncomfortable. And I knew what I looked like on camera without even realizing it. So remember in The Karate Kid, he's like, but teach me how to fight, Mr. Miyagi. When we can actually learn how to fight, come on. He's like, show me. Paint defense. And he's like, how am I doing this? So I think doing all these different creative things. Look, if I was doing accountant and real estate, all things that were kind of unrelated, it may detract.
Right.
And to an extent, you're right. But the more you focus on one thing, you'll get the most mileage out of it. But I do think in a way when you're kind of oriented towards a creative vision, they can all be somewhat supportive. Having said that, I even admitted I gotta do more leg day when it comes to writing.
So what of all these different things that you're doing would you say are you the most excited about?
Well, stand-up has the highest threshold of pain to pleasure, where it's so painful, right? Like the juice sometimes is not always worth the squeeze in terms of for every set that feels like you murdered, that's great. And it's almost like cocaine, right? It's like a quick high. Oh, that was awesome. And now it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's not the most sustained high. Like you have to keep doing it. And there's sort of an addiction to it. So I really love the overcoming that challenge. Because to me, to be exposed on stage and get through that environment, I get a sort of sense of like fulfillment in overcoming something I find very difficult. I think that's like good for everything. Yeah. And I also just love the community, the camaraderie, just being in that scene and being able to do it. There's something about stand-up that gives you a certain tool set and skill set.
It always comes down to stand-up. I knew when I asked the question what the answer was going to be.
It's not necessarily the most, always the most fun and always the most satisfying because it's so much self-reflection and judgment, and it's the harshest. You're just like, yeah, no, it did well, but and other comedians are the stand-up community is just filled with people, just filled with needing validation and self-doubt and all that.
Really? Wow.
I've never seen it.
I've never heard that before.
It's not, and I come from the music world too, and it's less like that. It's less audience dependent. I love podcasting because stand up, you have those moments where you become yourself on stage.
Right.
You're doing your bits and you're channeling it, and then every once in a while there's those loose moments with a crowd or something. You find a new bit on stage and you're like, oh yeah, there I am. Yeah. My funny is here. Yeah. My personality just arrived.
It is amazing when you actually find something on stage and you go, wow, it excites you.
And then like yourself is there, not just your channeling of your bits as an instrument. Right. You're all of a sudden totally like, here I am. This is why I got into this. With podcasting, it's you get to feel like you're channeling your inner self. So I'm very excited about that because when I podcast, I get to feel there's less space between who I am and what I'm doing in the moment, which I enjoy. Right. And then, of course, I think in the advocacy commentary space that I'm in.
So here's a little video for you to make. You still make the videos? Of course you do.
Of course. What do you got?
So when you talk about it, stand up being an addiction.
Yeah, totally.
So the scene opens, a guy is laying in bed like a heroin addict. He's just rocking back and forth. I gotta find 200 people to talk to. I gotta find 200-300 people. I go crazy.
Yo, you got an open mic I could talk to? What do you got? That's totally true. Yeah. So true.
And you call your pusher, the guys who run the clubs. Listen, man, I gotta come in there, man. Otherwise I'm gonna die.
I don't care. Just give me a bartender, somebody who could chuckle. Someone, please.
Even late night. I'll do late night tonight, man.
Just invite me to a Friday night meal. I got stuff.
And they all turn you down, and you get on a bus, a city bus.
Yeah.
I gotta talk to you people. I gotta just do something.
And then they go to like some gross orgy, like at the end of what's the movie? The big drug movie? Famous drug movie?
Trainspotting?
No, the other one. I'm blanking.
Drug movie?
Yeah, like at the end of what's the movie? Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na.
Who do you know?
Requiem for a Dream. She ends up
Hubert Selby Jr.
It took
wrote
too
that.
long to get to the reference, but I was going to say you go to some massive orgy just so you could tell jokes
So that was
afterwards.
an interesting. Thank you there.
Because you needed a hit. You need the hit, right?
You know, he keeps. It was Marlon Wayans in that movie. Keeps
Yes.
stealing his mother's TV, and she's addicted to TV, so she has to keep going out and buying a new TV to keep that addiction going.
Right.
I personally know the guy that wrote that movie.
Right.
Who wrote the book.
Right.
Hubert Selby Jr. He was a friend of mine.
Right.
And one of the great writers of the '60s. He wrote Last Exit to Brooklyn.
Right.
Which was amazing.
And
did Darren so and so direct that?
I don't know. I'm not as big. I'm not.
Aronofsky?
Yeah,
Maybe.
did he do that movie?
I don't know.
Yes, he did.
It was
So-
just a quick joke, but we ended up really going down the road there. So,
I love performing
yes.
very much. I do it, and of course, and it's so much more nerve-wracking for me performing than sitting writing. I'm always at peace when I sit alone in a room writing, and I generally always and I don't, and I'm less afraid to put my writing out in public than I am my stand-up.
Because you don't get the instant reaction to the writing.
I have that with sketch comedy, and because it's controlled. Because the ratio of control to chaos or uncertainty is much more controlled. With writing, you can edit, you can put it together, and then you could be like, it is complete. And I'm going to put it out there and I stand by it. Same with like a sketch or anything edited and that you can produce. But stand-up is not complete until it's live.
Yeah.
In other words, you have to rehearse and work these like kinks out in front of a crowd.
What's amazing...
That is like nothing else. Like no other art form.
No, I totally agree.
Maybe eating. Maybe chefs. They like, they have to like the food. It's all complete once they eat it and like it. But you can control what you produce.
But you don't have a whole bunch of people having to approve it at the same time.
Also, like if you make a dish, or people are gonna like it every time. If you write a joke,
that's not true.
No.
No. If you maybe not everybody.
Then they
likes
would
the
only
dish.
have one dish on a menu.
But what I mean is, let me rephrase. The same dish.
This dish,
the
everyone
same
likes,
song.
ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
not saying everybody likes it, but every time you perform that song, you're in control of how good it's going to kind of come out. Or you make a dish, you can control the quality.
Okay.
When you do a bit, it can kill in one setting and bomb in another. So it's all over the map.
So I need to disagree to a great degree because
Talk to me.
stand-up
To me.
is the only thing that you get a group of people that you've never seen before
Yes.
agreeing on something or disagreeing on it, and they all do it together.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right.
I will throw out a new bit, and they're all silent. I don't hear anything from anybody. They just agreed amongst each other, we don't like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
How that was possible that I created something that 200, 500 all agree they never want to hear this again.
And that you're proud of that.
No, I'm just saying that, but with stand-up, then, listen, I do some big rooms. They all seem to agree that they like this thing.
Well, have you ever had a bit where you're like, what a pop that gets? And then in another scenario, not such a pop. And then another scenario, I think it's kind of a spectrum, no?
So the problem that I fall into sometimes, maybe, I don't know, is you'll do a big room and there'll be big laughters. And then you'll do a room with 28 people. And then if they're not laughing as hard or in the same place, you'll think that it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't compare.
No,
Well,
but I'm just saying, given that you're gauging reaction and impact of certain material, it refines your writing to say, I need a really resilient bit that can withstand almost any room. And that tells you, it sort of tells you how strong the bit is. If you're in a rolling club, it's a kill box, and you go, and they start cracking up. You've been in rooms like that where you clear your throat, and they're like, I love that. How you cleared your throat was so. Some rooms are kill boxes. You like sniff in a funny way, they start cracking up. And then that doesn't really, it's great and fun and satisfying. It doesn't test every bit because you can get away with a lot. And in some rooms, like a theater, where it's like, you say something,
Yeah.
silent. And it commands silence, so it tests the strength of your bits.
We came up with something earlier. I came up with a punchline to something. I'm going to do it tonight. I'm on a show with you.
Okay.
And we'll see. You tell me how you think this is going to go right now.
Talk to me.
Okay? So we heard, I went to the Bobblehead Museum. I don't know if you've heard of this, but I went to the Bobblehead Museum, and I walked up to the ticket counter. I said to the lady, I'd like to get 2, and she went, So, do you think that'll work tonight on stage?
I think that is funny, and it'll get a laugh. The question is, where's it going? Is that it?
Oh, yeah, it's not going any further than that.
Yeah, I went to the Bobblehead Museum. The lady at the counter, I asked for 2 tickets, and all she did was go. Is it a nod, or is it all over the place?
It's all over right there, Bubblehead. Yeah. She went, all right.
Okay, I think you need one more setup.
Do you want to sit downstairs or
you
upstairs?
You need one more setup.
Okay.
I would just throw in.
Yeah.
You're giving away the goods too early, I would say. Went to the Bobblehead Museum. Anybody heard of this place? The Bob Museum. And the problem is, it's a very confusing place. I never know what to do there because every time I ask a question, they always answer me the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's better.
The setup. Yeah. What do you mean it's confusing? What are you talking about? Setup. I never can get straight answers,
Everywhere you go, yeah.
Everywhere you go.
Where's the bathroom?
They're all Indians. What are they talking about? I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Indian Museum because everyone was like, I don't know. That's what I would do with it. But
so then my doctor sent me a joke this morning. He sent me a joke. He's going to be there tonight.
Yeah.
So he sent me this. Let me just see it for a second here.
Yeah, sure.
He said, because I do a lot of wife stuff. So he said to me, oh, here it is. He goes, no, it wasn't him. It was this guy. Okay, here it is. Give me a second. He goes, I have a great line for you that came to me. He goes, being married to my wife is like a newspaper. Every day there's another issue.
Cute.
Not bad.
Yeah. But there's more. There's more there. What else? I feel like really drain the bit.
Of course, and I will. This is just.
I like that. Every day there's another issue.
Page 6.
Everything she tells about me is a lie. Like, I don't know, something about like mainstream corrupting thing. There's funny stuff in there.
It's not very. I can never tell if it's credible. I don't like the op-ed section.
The editorials are always nasty.
Editorials about me are always nasty. It's viciously anti-Semitic. That won't make sense. But if you just say that about your own wife being anti-Semitic, she only hates one Jew, and that's me. So that's funny.
You do impressions too.
I had one joke. Can I run it by you?
Yes, of course. You gonna do it tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know if it's just about when it rains in LA. How everybody panics. Mm-hmm. Like most people, they know how to handle it resilient, but when it rains in LA, people act like they just wet the bed. They're like, and they just like when you wet the bed, you're just like, oh no. I don't know. There's something there. Like you're panicked because you're just not used to handling peeing on a regular basis.
Right, and then you need to say maybe something in there like, not that I would know.
Yeah.
Since I was 2.
I was a bedwetter, to be honest. Right. But I just mean the way people walk around LA when it's raining is like they just wet the bed. They're ashamed. Mm-hmm. They're embarrassed.
You don't mind me asking, how'd you stop?
They're wet. How did I stop wetting the bed? I don't know. I think I would start having dreams that I was peeing, and then I would go, oh, wake up.
How long did you go with the wedding for? Till what age?
14, 15? No, I was like 7.
Okay.
It'll come back though in my older age, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to.
It might.
And why would you ask me that question?
I think I thought you were saying it doesn't. I think I had an alarm that I clipped to and then it would get wet and it would go. Beep! Like it got to that point. And they put these things on kids that alerts you, so my whole house would wake up. Oh, Ami pissed the bed again.
They should have put a shock collar. What about that?
Yeah, fry my nuts.
Did you have
something else?
How long are you married?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah. What, you're asking me how long he's married? Like
how long are you married?
Verify it? Oh,
Can you verify that, Danny?
10 years. 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
35. 35 years.
Nice.
So, I used to have occasionally, there's dreams with, sex dreams before I was married, and they're all but gone now.
Right.
Does that happen to everybody?
Yeah. Does that mean that they're gone in your sleep or in life as well?
No, in my sleep. In my sleep, sir.
On your dreams?
Yeah, I don't. They don't. Those women don't show up anymore.
Just your wife.
And I think,
sex dreams at all, or it's just one cast, just one character.
No.
Do you have any dreams now about being turned down for sex? Has that happened?
That's not a dream. That's not a dream. That happens in real time.
No, that's reality.
That's reality.
It's a good question. I think so. I think it does. Who knows?
It fades away a little.
Fades away.
And is that cheating?
In a dream?
Like if every night a different woman came to you in a dream and you were with her.
It'd be maybe more cheating if it was the same woman every night.
Then it's really meaningful. Yeah. Then you're like in love.
Then you're spending equal time with your wife and this woman.
Yeah.
And then you want, especially if you start saying other people, you got to meet her. She's really.
What if your dreams were
nice
so
to me.
vivid that you couldn't tell any difference between when you're awake and when you're asleep? Like when you went to sleep, it felt exactly like real life. You had a whole nother life. But you're just switching between two lives.
Well, dreams feel very real.
The weird thing is, for me, the longer I'm married, men start showing up in my dreams.
Wow, yeah.
And
Let me know if I pop in.
Yeah, I will. Mark, how you doing? Let's do
I
this.
don't think you make the cut.
But anyway, yes. I'm sorry I interrupted before.
No.
Yeah. You're asking me about impressions? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah. So, how do you work on a new one if you come up with somebody?
Impressions are interesting. I wouldn't say I work on it. I just, once I solve it, I have it. It's more like a discovery.
You have to find
It's
the hook,
like
right?
when you're in the video game collecting coins. So sometimes I just don't have the coin. Like I know it's around, and then once I crack it, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Is it different writing jokes for an impression than for regular straight stand-up?
in a way, it's deceptively harder because you think you have the joke just from having the impression. And the truth is you find out live very quickly that you don't. It's just a lick. It's a party trick. It's a neat little thing. But if you have no material around it, it blows out in its steam very, very quickly. When I have an impression, I write like videos around it, which are similar to stand-up by process where you're putting them in certain scenarios and things. Stand-up requires you create that visually with words, but you have to have material with your impression. Otherwise, you'll do it for 2 seconds. People go, it's like playing a lick on guitar with no song around it. You know, so you have to build the song around the featured thing. But like I solved the Russell Brand this weekend, which was a lot of fun. I cracked.
Did you see his video about him with Jesus?
Probably.
Oh,
But he's just like, oh my God, look at this, we're in a van, it's a beautiful van. Oh, we love that Mark Schiff talking about wet dreams.
Yeah.
And I don't really have it, but like I kind of figured out what it is. Oh, we're all sinners, and I used to take bars and oatmeal, you know.
Yeah.
But once you find it, it's sort of in like my bag now.
Didn't he
And
just
then
get
I have to write.
accused of rape this week or something?
was,
He was
yeah.
not accused.
in the
but,
past, and it's
Yeah,
two
new
other
allegation
people.
came out.
New one.
no, but I think he was.
He admits to being a sex addict.
Yeah.
But he
No,
also
but I
admits-
think there was like a
I lived a life of
conviction
pleasure
against him.
and sin and hedonism until I found Christ. That's what happened. Once you have the bit, the hardest thing is in a stand-up scenario, it tests like what you can do with it, and it's different than when socially you're just riffing and having fun. Like you can kill and have a good time with your friends. But once you're on stage, like people want to, it needs a bit to live inside of to really be strong and
Absolutely.
to have staying power in your set.
But with
you know?
Trump, you can almost say what he says.
Yes, that's true.
You know, just
But you need a thread to really keep it strong. Like, what about what he's saying is that funny?
so tonight on the show.
Yeah, but crowd work in impressions is very good because it's great to improv with it. So it's very good for
You
crowd
do
work.
Trump,
Yeah.
and somebody else on the show does him
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
So
Yes.
do you not do it, or you both do it?
Generally speaking, we have a powwow over who's doing what. You know. But I think tonight I'm going to be doing it. I think Elon's doing other things. Generally speaking, if he'll tell me like, you keep there's plenty to go around. So
Yeah, he's good about
you take
that.
Biden, Kamala, Tucker, save Trump for me, just so it doesn't wear itself out. And sometimes we do the dueling Trumps, which is 2 of them, 2 for the price of 1. Double your pleasure, double your fun. Just ask Stormy Daniels.
It's such a fantastic impression.
Thank you.
What happened to what's his name that you just said?
Tucker?
Yeah, what happened? I used to watch him, and I thought that I was watching somebody really important.
He was molested by a demon. Remember?
Is that what happened?
That's what he said, right?
A demon from Qatar.
You were at the America Fest.
I was, yeah,
right?
Amfest.
So
I
you
just
were
got
there
back.
when he made that speech?
Yeah, and I was there when Ben made his speech.
In the room, right?
Ben Shapiro did his speech.
And
I was backstage when they made their speeches. I really got an inside scoop.
did you talk to them?
Ben more so, but I went up to Tucker. I didn't feel great about it.
What did you talk to him? What did you say to him?
I said, Mr. Carlson, thank you for the material.
Yeah.
And he was like, who are you? What's happening? And I said, I've been known to do some impressions of you online. Really? Oh my God, I love that. In my head, I'm like, I don't think you would love that if you saw what I'm doing. He kind of either didn't know me or pretended not to know me, and that's fine. He's kind of just happy-go-lucky whistling past the graveyard. What happened to him? I can't tell you the motivation. It's astounding to me. He's more shrewd than anyone else. He might just be the most dangerous. I think, though, Jews make this big mistake of, he got this Anti-Semite of the Year award. I think
I thought that was terrible.
Insane. Not because he doesn't traffic in this nefarious stuff, but that's exactly what he wants you to write about him.
Right.
Because Tucker doesn't go out there saying, I hate Jews. Mm-hmm. Quite the opposite. He goes out there saying, anti-Semitism is wrong. Period. Mamdani does that too. What's dangerous about what they do? It's that they say it's wrong and then behave in such a way as to mainstream it effectively, platform it, elevate these voices, and tell you that it's not an issue. Mm-hmm. That's more dangerous. Hamas's ideology is very crystal clear. Nick Fuentes' ideology is clear. They hate Jews. They hate the Yahud. Easy to fight. When you mask your ideology, when you evade, when you pretend the problems aren't there that are there, that's more dangerous. It's like cancer is dangerous, but a doctor telling you it's not really cancer, so you don't have to treat it.
Right.
Or,
it's like giving yourself a license to say what you want about it. It's like,
or telling you, it's a cold, don't overreact, or giving you treatment that's not actually effective is more dangerous. You're more likely to die than identifying actual things. And I think Jews make the mistake of calling Mamdani what they would call Fuentes. Fuentes is a proud anti-Semite. He's very clear about that. Yeah. Sure. Also, I think this award ceremonial stuff is just a way for Jews to feel like they're doing something that when they're not accomplishing anything. But if you call Tucker the same thing when he doesn't explicitly do that, call him what he is, a nefarious, manipulative, narcissistic, psychopathic person. Mm-hmm. And the effects, these fights require discernment. And a lot of times in our space, it's so on-off, so binary that we lose discernment, and therefore anti-Semitism as a designation loses all power in meeting. And it's the boy who cried wolf. But the problem is, the wolf eventually arrives, and no one knows what to do.
When we started this whole conversation earlier, I was telling Mark about, how anti-Semitic it really feels like the world is right now, and the country is right now.
Mainstreamed, yeah.
And I was telling Mark is that I can't think of any time when it just goes away. Like, it never just gets better. It eventually everybody gets killed or exiled.
It did after World War II. It got
there's
better.
A cycle. There's always a cycle.
Well, it got better after there was... You're talking about in America, or are you talking about
in the world?
In the world, for sure.
Well, 6 million people died, and then it's like, okay, the cycle's over. But
and it repeats. That's what happens.
Right.
6 million people died. It leads to mass tragedy, and then
and then there's sort of like this guilt or fake guilt that they put on, and it starts to build again. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't see how this in America ends in any other way except mass murder or mass exile.
Right.
Do you think that way as well?
I hate to be like a paranoid, catastrophist, but the ominous parallels to history are so obvious and staring us right in the face that when Jews get to the point of max threshold of, I would say, comfort, influence, and I don't mean influence in a bad way, just impactful, mainstream, the sunset on that is happening. Look at the Purim story. Maimonides was the doctor to the Sultan, and before the Spanish... Am I getting that right?
He was the doctor, to this...
And was the Spanish Inquisition in Maimonides'
to
time?
the king?
Yeah.
We're talking about...
Rambam?
No.
He wasn't the doctor to the king?
He was.
That wasn't the Spanish Inquisition.
Rambam was in Spain, right?
Yes.
Rambam was a doctor in Egypt.
Are you sure he wasn't in Spain?
And he may have been also in Spain, but that he was the doctor.
He went to Spain on vacation.
My point is that once you reach this point where you're at the threshold, that's when all of a sudden everything then goes. Why? Because we're sort of victims of our own success.
The Purim story
we're persecuted. We adapt, and then everyone hates us for that.
But it's not only our success. They hate us when we're poor. They hate us when we're rich. They hate us without a country. They hate us with a country.
Yeah.
They hate us when we build hospitals. They hate us when we don't build hospitals.
But okay, so the Purim.
So I do feel like it's
I brought up the Purim story to my wife when I was talking about this, and I was saying the reason Purim is a holiday is because it was such a unique situation in that it was supposed to be basically a Holocaust, and because of divine intervention and the people praying and fasting, we had a different ending, right, in Iran when that happened, or Persia. So that ending, if you look at it, was not that nothing happened. They still went out there, they still had the decree to go and try and kill the Jews, and their fights broke out, and the Jews just were able to defend themselves. Many Jews still die at the end of the Purim story. It's not like it doesn't...
happen.
It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen on the scale that it was going to happen. They still have all these people coming out to these different towns of Jews to massacre them. The Hanukkah story as well is like, it's like a little bit of a crisis diverted, but in the end they still get us, right? It's just like it gets pushed off.
I would say it's the ominous parallels are there. Where it goes from here, I mean, nothing is predetermined. America is unique. It has guardrails against tyranny. It has guardrails against a lot of these things. But at the same time, if in 2025 we haven't figured out that straight up Jew hating, racism, real racism, not manufactured by the left, but the real stuff happening on the right, isn't wrong and should be condemned, and that's a softball. If we can't figure that out, if ripping down hostage posters happens in New York City in 2025, it's pretty disheartening.
Right.
That, you know, you could make the excuse is the wrong word, but if you look back at history, in the 30s, when we were playing with all these new ideologies of eugenics and communism and all of these kinds of things, as evil as they were, you didn't have in recent memory this experiment to see how just horrifying the consequences would be of experimenting with these ideas, which led to holocausts and mass murder and slaughter and starvation. So in a sense, you could blame, oh well, people didn't know better, or they were buying into it, or they were ignoring the signs that this could be dangerous, that fascism could be dangerous. This is all living memory now, and we're still talking about Holocaust minimalism and asking these questions again, or did it really happen? Like, there's just no excuse for it anymore in living memory, with the most documented atrocities in recorded history in recent memory, and we're still toying with it. It tells me the diagnosis is far deeper and darker, that when you have a population that feels that it reaches this threshold, that has no place to turn, that it feels disenfranchised, I think it's a lot of it's a reaction to woke leftism, which demonized subsets of the society, like white Christian males, as being subhuman. You're getting an identitarian right-wing reaction,
but
course correction, and I think that's the opposite extreme. And the fact that can happen in 2025, and not everyone,
even though they're
can
loud,
is
that
crazy.
group is loud, that hates Jews.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's still relatively small?
Yes, it just doesn't take that large a number to shift a culture or a society or take political power. So what
do you think is going to happen in New York?
Even in Nazi Germany, I don't know what the majority of Germans out in the rural Germany felt about Jews. They might have been indifferent. I'm not excusing it, but politics is concentrated. Power is concentrated, and it has a unique advantage over a fractured sort of majority that's raising their families and are decent, common sense people. But the concentration at the halls of power, and the more that the halls of power can do more things, that's where the fight is.
So let's make a predictions about New York. What do you think is going to happen in New York?
That's a good question. I think I'm less concerned about the immediate short-term effects of New York with a Mamdani mayor. There's only so much you can do, and there are guardrails against it. He's a mayor. He's not at state power. He can't do the things he promises. But guess what? He can't do the things he promises, and he can always just blame the system. Well, it didn't work because I wasn't able to implement what I wanted to do.
Right.
But more than the short-term damages that he could do, I'm more concerned about the reverberations that his victory has across the left.
Right, I agree.
The fact that you can get elected in New York City with the views and ideologies he has, as an Islamist, as a communist, anti-Zionist, anti-Israel, whether he says or not he hates Jews or not, he hasn't said that, but he's certainly okay with groups that do. Okay, for him to get elected despite those things or because of those things has positive reverberations across the left to say, hey, we're going to just go further and further left. This works.
What I was thinking is the most dangerous thing about it is just who it empowers in New York. Like people who may have felt like, I don't think I could get away with doing that to Jewish people, now are going to be like, okay, I think we're good. Right? So that's where it gets really scary. Not necessarily that Mamdani himself is going to do this stuff to the Jewish people in New York, but that he may look the other way, or that other people may now feel like, hey, now's our time. There
are also real questions. Does the Israeli Day Parade get special security protection as they always do? He's not going to march with them. I think they probably will. If a synagogue gets vandalized, he'll condemn that. But what if a pro-Palestinian protest starts to get out of hand and assault not Jews but Zionists? Where's his stance on that? Because at one time he marched right alongside these people. Yeah. So, sorry, you got to do more than that than to just give lip service.
I'm afraid it's going to be a big uptick in hurting Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks has been pretty awful.
No,
And he is-
Zionists, Mark.
Zionists, I'm sorry.
Zionists.
You have to change.
Well, I'm a proud Zionist.
Right, but Zionists, not Jews. I mean, you could say that all day. The point is also, he wrote a rap song praising the Holy Land Five, Hamas. His father, his upbringing, his whole ideology is anti-Western, anti-American, anti-Israel, and
His mother's a big filmmaker, makes a lot of money.
well, sure, they're always rich because you don't suffer the consequences of terrible economic policy.
Did you see the Chappelle stuff?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
All I saw was the final clip of the final ending. I need a code. I need a code.
Yeah,
if you ever see me corrupted or co-opted, you know.
I stand with Israel, right?
I stand with Israel.
Yeah.
To
So
applause, thunderous applause. Yeah.
So what do you think of the? Do you have any thoughts on that?
What does that mean? I didn't see it. I stand with Israel. I don't know
So
anything
he
about it.
said if they ever like get into my brain or brainwash me, and you'll know it's not really me speaking anymore if I say the words "I stand with Israel."
Something we need a code, something I'll never say, so you'll know that they've got me.
Yeah.
It plays into so many multi-layers of anti-Semitic tropes, which is they've got me. Who's
Right.
like as if any support for Israel or whatever this is some
Right.
power struggle that plays into the whole Kanye West narrative of he's not explicitly Jewish elites. Whatever
So
it
are
is.
you okay with Netflix putting out specials like that are clearly anti-Semitic?
Well, it's not clearly anti-Semitic is the issue. In other words, he didn't. I would be able to say they shouldn't put it out if he said, "F the Jews," right? If he
Right.
closed saying "F the
Why
Jews,"
shouldn't it go out then?
why shouldn't it go out if
Yeah.
he does that?
Yeah.
I mean, they're free to do what they want, but I certainly am free to associate how I want and judge how I want. Free speech goes both ways. They shouldn't be arrested necessarily for doing that. But he didn't close saying "F the Jews," and it's always they, it's always masked. But there's a problem with the fact that this, ignoring the cultural context you're in, right, is the problem. So
He's
him saying they and this after Kanye had facilitated a massive uptick revealing anti-Semitism, say, in the hip-hop community and the black community.
Right.
And Dave Chappelle provided coverage to say, Kanye not that bad. I mean, he went crazy, but let's make Kanye feel better. And that whole thing he did on SNL that made people, when he said, now, terrible things happen to Jewish people. There's no question there's terrible things, but that is just not the fault of black people. It's just not. And I'm watching this like...
Is that the one where the space?
Yeah, that was an SNL monologue. And he says, but you just can't blame black people for that. And we go, my reaction to that is, I know. We're not blaming black people for anything. It's Kanye, and by extension, people supporting him, that are blaming Jews for everything.
Right.
So are you just culturally deaf to what's going on?
No, he's not. He's sharp. That's
No.
the thing.
So
Right.
in that context, animating those ideas, when he gets up in his comedy special most recently and says, if they've ever got me, which is echoing the exact same language Kanye West used, even if he doesn't say Jewish, I'm not putting words in his mouth, but then he goes, I stand with Israel, being the ultimate false statement I would never say. I mean, kind of just shows the moral decay of the West, that gets the applause line as to say, if you think Israel's the villain in the fight against Hamas and the fight against radical Islamic terrorism, and everybody applauds that, then we live in the morally backwards, upside down world in which good is confused with evil and evil is confused with good. And that's that.
You
And
saw the special?
Chappelle's one of the greatest stand-ups ever.
Yeah.
How was the
Disappointing
audience?
to see that.
The audience was in his pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fans of him.
Right.
So of course. Now to me, it's the most disturbing thing is in fact that evil triumphs when good people think evil is good. It's like that they don't all think they're the bad guys clapping that.
So I did a
and
show.
for someone as sharp as Chappelle, who you think gets it right culturally,
Right.
he has it flipped. It's anti-truth, but that's what it is.
I did
But
a show
it's-
in Cleveland years ago,
Yeah.
and my opening act in Cleveland, I don't know who he was. Sometimes you go into a town, they have, people there. So he was a racist comedian, and he did,
Actually racist or funny
Yeah,
racist?
no.
Okay.
You do one end joke after another,
Yeah.
and the audience clapping and laughing their heads. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Right.
It was like a horror movie, and I complained about him.
Was he wearing a hood with holes cut out? Okay.
This was a long time ago.
All right.
So I complained. I called it at the club the next day, and I said, "Listen, I can't work with this guy. This is just terrible." And they fired me.
Right.
They kept him.
Right.
They said, "Okay, you go home. You don't want to work."
He's
with
still working now?
him." I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name because it was like one night there
He's
with him.
huge.
So he
now.
wasn't just making
Yeah.
racist jokes, he was actually racist?
Yeah. I mean,
Because how do you feel about racist jokes?
me
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
What was that? What does that mean? Like
I like racist jokes as long as they're jokes.
so, I do some Jew jokes.
Yeah.
You know, like
I like a joke. I don't care. Like if you don't mean it, then
here-
I'm fine
here-
with it.
here's a
if
Jew-
you mean it or an audience means it, I'm not fine with it. That's
Right.
the whole point. You know.
So here's a. Is this a racist joke for against Jews?
Let's hear.
So priest goes in to get a haircut. You know this joke? Priest goes in to get a haircut. Barber said, "Father, no charge at all. You're a man of God, the Bible." Next day, a dozen roses in front of the barber shop. Week later, a minister comes in to get a haircut. The barber said, "Please, minister, you visit the sick people. You spread the word of God. You're beautiful." Next day, 12 bottles of wine in front of the barber shop. Rabbi comes in to get a haircut. Rabbi, the Torah. The next day, 12 rabbis in front of the barber shop. Now, is that a racist Jewish joke?
Probably a little, like the idea, whatever. I
The
mean,
Jews are cheap and
yeah.
rather than give
It's a
gifts.
funny joke. It's a great
It's
joke.
a great joke. It kills.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
No, anything that's racially themed, playing on stereotypes, meant and intended as a tease or a joke, I'm totally down with. It's when you start making serious statements in the middle of your act and you mean it to be taken seriously or literally,
Yeah.
we have a problem. And Chappelle's starting to do that, like interweave serious statements in the midst of a joke set. Like he in the middle of the SNL monologue he went from like funny jokes that were about Jews, like, I don't want to go to the school. I had a lot of Jewish friends. They all said, I'm not going to school tomorrow. It's Shanana. I'm like, I want Shanana. And he starts like joking about Jew stuff. I loved it. Then he goes into this serious point about, and I'm like, well, what are we talking about? Where's the joke? Where's the punch?
Right.
There is no punchline. He's just
Well,
making a
he
statement.
does. He weaves in and out. That's
Exactly.
his thing. Almost like Lenny Bruce.
Right. So that's when it gets weird. I'm like, how am I supposed to judge that now? Of how funny it was or in the substance of a point you're trying to make?
Right.
It's weird.
Do you receive? I'm guessing the answer is obviously yes, but do you receive a lot of hate for what you do on the internet?
Just from his family.
Yeah.
No, but really, I mean, I put out a little bit of like, you know, what you would call, I guess, activism, and I get back a lot of.
I guess I just don't. I guess my mind filters it out because I get disproportionately much more love and support, and you get hate. It depends
Do you
on
answer people when they write nasty things to you?
if I have a really good zinger, yeah. If it's really funny, if I have
See,
a
I
good
don't. I get
every
a bunch
once in a while.
I get a bunch of hate.
Twitter's the worst. You get the worst stuff on Twitter: the nose emojis, the gas chambers, the things like that.
Who has a gas chamber emoji? Where do they find
It's
these?
very good. Or a GIF of gas
It's
back
very
in back
good.
back in the oven, stuff like that. That happens. But I had a good one the other
I
day.
wouldn't even know where to begin to find a gas chamber emoji.
I had a good
Call
one.
it AI. You could
Somebody
probably-
wrote, like, how's your comedy career going? And I wrote, really great, Baruch Hashem. Like BH.
I
They
get
don't know what
things-
BH means, but it's also for people watching.
I
Really
would
good.
get, Mark, you used to be funny, and what happened to you? And,
Someone's like, didn't you get kicked off the Louis J. Gomez tour? How's that comedy career going? I'm saying, I wrote, never met Louis J. Gomez. It's going great, BH. So to respond to an answer something like that sometimes is funny. This isn't a hate comment, but Megyn Kelly recently was like, in her confusion, tweeting something about how Barry Weiss should never have been taken over at CBS, even though, of course, she gave her all the support a month ago. She's like, should never have been taken over at CBS. She doesn't know anything about television. And I wrote to her, you're not the mother of television either.
Yeah,
right.
Which
I
is what she said,
remember-
I'm not the mother of the internet, which is just, it's very selective.
You
Some
remember
little
you had
singers,
a-
that wasn't a hate comment at me, but every once in a while I engage on that. But most of the time, I don't know who these people are on Twitter. It's anonymous. And if you insult someone and humiliate them on Twitter and you know who they are, and they're hateful to begin with, I'd rather not rock that boat. I just ignore them. I don't want them to know I see them.
You had a video where you were analyzing a conversation between Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk before Charlie Kirk was killed.
Right.
And you were making some points on that video. I watched it where you were saying this. I don't think that Megyn Kelly is anti-Semitic. I don't think, I think we're being too quick to jump to people being anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that same way about her?
Yeah. She's not anti-Semitic, but she's a coward.
Megan.
Yeah. There are different
Well,
designations.
she chose a side after that America Fest thing, right?
Yeah, she chose
a side. It was not Ben's side,
Right, but the opposite
So-
of Ben's side is not always anti-Semitism. It's cowardice in the face of anti-Semitism or in the face of nefarious people. Ben's speech didn't mention Jews once. It didn't mention Israel much. It mentioned Mossad a little. But it wasn't about Israel. It wasn't about Jews. It wasn't about him. It was about the truth and about them and conservatism and standards of ethical behavior. You could take Israel completely out of the conversation, and we're focusing on Candace's behavior in the wake of Charlie's death, which was so despicable. And so the opposite of that is not people who are anti-Semitic. It's nefarious, evil people, and anti-Semitism is a part of that. It could be a part of that, but more than that, you have good and virtuous, you have evil and nefarious, and in the middle you have cowards, ignoramuses, people who are naive. And I would say Megan falls under cowardice for not she knows what's right and wrong here, and she won't properly stand up to it.
So you think she is on the side of good, but she's too afraid to express
I mean,
it?
the side of good,
that's what you're
overarching, if we call Megyn Kelly an anti-Semite, do you actually believe that?
No, I'm asking you.
Does anybody? Right. I don't think that's the designation. I think Jews lose their sense of, in our side, so to speak, speak loosely, there's a lack of discernment. There's a lack of nuance. Everybody's operating from a mode of survival. And in a mode of survival, it's with us, against us. With us, against us. So anybody who veers differently,
so
we flick them.
She is against us now.
What?
She is against us. She's not with us.
But that's not necessarily a healthy way to actually get at the truth of the matter.
Okay.
We do this thing where, and we end up, I don't say we create more enemies, but sometimes it's not helpful, at least in just understanding what's going on. What I would say Megan is in the face of all this is a coward in the face of evil that's so obvious and apparent in Candace Owens. And Tucker Carlson in his manipulative behavior. The people who refuse to call that out or won't stand on the truth or pretend to be ignorant about it are dishonest, are cowardice, wussies. That's a different thing than an anti-Semite.
Sure.
So just for the sake of understanding what's going on, if you see everything through a with us against us lens, then it's very low resolution. It's like being colorblind. You just don't see everything for what's really going on. It can be helpful in survival mode, but also hurtful because you don't properly know how to navigate the space. You're sort of just going like this. You're like, who's with me, who's against me?
So how do you properly navigate the space?
By just being accurate in your descriptions and putting your emotions down and actually analyzing people's behavior and their positions.
Don't lead with your fear and your emotions.
Yes, yes.
Take a breath.
And a lot of these institutions claiming to fight anti-Semitism, combat anti-Semitism, after coming back from Amfest, I realized they're not actually doing that at all.
No.
What they're doing, which isn't bad, but if we're being honest, what they're doing is they're making Jews feel better and seen and protected in the face of anti-Semitism.
Right.
We have your back. They claim that they're like, we identified so-and-so with us, against us. We named these universities. But they don't combat it. They don't minimize it. Right. I'm at Amfest talking to these groypers and little baby neo-Nazis in the making.
Yeah.
And I'm actually answering their questions. And I'm actually debunking their arguments. And then the next day they're coming back to me again. And they're like, wait, so what about this? Like, a lot of these people are like lost Christian yeshiva bachers who are angry and embittered. And they're like, remember, we know those kinds of kids, but whatever. My Rebbe's an asshole. Forget my school. I got kicked out. I mean, you know this story.
Right.
So you can almost relate to the lost, disenfranchised white Christian kid who's been told he's a loser and he's worthless. And the people speaking on behalf of him are like nefarious, evil people, like the devils here of the white nationalists and neo-Nazis said, come with me, my child, come with me. And they're following that because they're the only ones advocating for them. And I spoke to them and I'm this Jew and they're like kind of freaked out, like, oh my God, it's a real Jew. They never really meet Jews or whatever.
Right.
And so for them, when you just, before judgment, if you just kind of meet their ignorance and false notions of things with actual answers before moralizing, it's much more effective at that stage. I'm not going to moralize at Nick Fuentes and try to reason with him. I think he knows better. But a lot of these kids don't. And so I don't think on the institutional level, the Jewish community realizes that at all. That a lot of the people we're scared of are just like a bunch of like lost yeshiva bacher Christians.
Ben Shapiro, on one of his things, he played some Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
When he was on Tucker.
Right.
I could only listen to maybe 4 minutes of this.
Right.
It was so horrible and so disgusting about women.
Yeah.
And how he gets away with this and how women
well, it's how you talk about your wife in your set. It's not that different.
Yeah. It was truly remarkable thing to hear.
It's repugnant.
Yeah. Beyond.
So
he said Stalin was cool. We'll get back to that. They never got back to that.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. Big fan of Stalin.
Ben's speech I thought was very strong.
Heroic.
And definitely heroic. And then I listened to that, and then I listened to the Tucker speech. And from the way it sounded like they got equal reaction in the room. Is not the case when you were there?
No, not at all.
So,
Ben ratio of like unanimous applause was way higher than Tucker's. Tucker kind of bombed
Didn't sound like that.
Of course it doesn't.
Right.
It never reads like that. I was inside the conservative internet in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Outside, it's painted one way. There in the room, a lot of confused clapter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of like, what did he just say? At one point, he said, if my brother went on a drug-induced murder spree, I wouldn't turn him in.
Yeah.
And people go, what?
That was
Tucker
weird.
said that.
That was a weird.
Meanwhile, Tyler Robinson,
argument.
the guy who killed Charlie Kirk in the investigation, who turned him in?
His father.
His father.
Right.
He's like, what are we supposed to criticize millions and millions of Muslims? He said this to a Turning Point crowd.
Yeah.
I'm an American. I'm not going to do it. And the crowd doesn't know what to do. It's all over the map.
I think in the Reiner family, one of the kids kind of turned him in. Of course, I remember hearing.
The siblings.
I heard it early on. They
Didn't know
told
where
the
you were going
police.
with that. Yeah.
No, they said the police. It was
the
a family
daughter.
member that did this.
I think Tucker had nothing to say in response to Ben. My summation of it is like, at Turning Point, Ben said everything. Tucker said nothing. As usual.
And is that how everyone felt, or is it just from your perspective where you're coming from?
I'm obviously biased, but to
Right.
me, I think Ben expected a much more hostile crowd and got about a 70-30 split in his favor.
Mm-hmm.
He defined the rest of the conference. He was the first speaker, and everything was in relation to what Ben had done. Like, what did you think?
Right.
So and no one could really hold a candle to that because it was the catharsis. Everyone, you have to remember what Ben's talking about is really Candace Owens' behavior, and she's no friend of Turning Point. She's been the persona non grata trying to destroy the whole organization.
Which was amazing
Right.
that Dennis Prager started her up.
Yeah, listen.
He didn't see it in her.
There's a Frankenstein.
She hit it well.
There's
She hit it well.
There's a Frankenstein that was created. Yeah.
Why did Rob Reiner and his wife take Nick to that party? Conan O'Brien party. You know about
Nick
that?
the son?
Yeah.
Well, he was on a new medication, it said, and they
But
thought
they said
that he was a threat to himself, and they wanted to keep an eye on him.
So they take him to a Christmas party?
Well, I guess if they had committed to going to that party and it was a big deal, they don't want to miss it, so they say,
But they
okay,
said
let's bring him with
I
us.
think I heard the medication was doing bad things to him.
Right.
Clearly.
So probably
He was booked on Tucker the next night, too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They probably had no idea the extent of it, I'm sure.
Was this
And-
a drug-induced psychosis that happened to the kid? Like, what happened?
And they've been
You know the details?
they've been dealing with this kid Nick Reiner for many years. He 19 rehabs or something like that.
But
so
would you bring him to a Christmas
yeah,
party?
I think so because in the context of having a kid who for 19 years you've been dealing with this. You know, it's just more of the same. So it's like, okay, are we going to miss this thing, or should we just bring him with? He's on a new med. I'm sure he's been on new meds a million times.
You also
So,
have
like,
you have the hindsight of knowing what he did eventually commit.
Right. So
That makes it seem like how could they brought a murderous kid to...
right. So I don't think that if in their
They
wildest
said he caused
dreams,
a lot of problems at the party.
right. But they probably are like, look, what's the big deal? He's going to be a little, let's keep an eye on him for the night. I don't think we should miss this. Let's bring him along. Maybe he'll have a good time. Maybe it'll be healthy for him. Maybe it'll be good for him to socialize.
You know about this from sources of like what he was like at the party?
Yeah, no, it says that he was antagonistic to people. He was giving people stare downs. But look, I worked in adolescent drug rehab for over 5 years. And I dealt with a lot of Nick Reiner type of kids, a lot of them. Homicidal kids, suicidal kids.
Yeah.
You don't just stop living your life. You have a kid like that, you try to adapt. You try to make it, you do your best for them. I've been
at my share of things where there's a bad egg or a bad energy, and you have Rahmanas, and they're trying, and they're there, and they're like in a drunken stupor or some kind of thing, and someone's like, this guy's got to be taken home. Let's get him home. He's drunk. Someone like, or aggressive. You've been in scenarios where someone's getting a little too aggressive, like, let's get him home. Let's get him out of here. There's that awkward vibe. And it usually doesn't end in a murderous spree.
Usually.
So when it doesn't, that would have just been like whatever. I don't think they
by
knew
the
he
way,
was a danger to anyone.
The daughter, there was word that they were worried about him being violent
Right.
before this happened.
It's a hindsight is 20/20 scenario because you're judging it from the perspective of one of the most heinous acts anyone could do.
Killing your parents?
Killing your parents.
Bad thing?
According to Tucker Carlson, maybe. I don't know. I've heard. But yeah.
Right. That was I might tell him to stop going on murderous sprees.
I mean, listen, I've gotten into fights with my parents. I can understand that. I do. I really do. Like, really, really.
So when you walked up to him, you didn't know that he was going to say he didn't know who you were or what you did.
I didn't know.
But
I was fairly recognized, so I wasn't sure.
Were you afraid? Were you fearful? Like you're going to go face a guy who you kind of mock every single day publicly?
Was I afraid? I was ready for an interesting interaction. I didn't get that. I almost felt gross afterwards because I find him to be wicked in what I'm doing. So I'm like, I don't want to like chum it up and be like, hey man, I'm just messing around. Yeah. Because I actually, in this case, it used to be that
like him when he was on Fox. Like
I never really took him that seriously. I always found him to be fairly unserious, even though he, when it came to speaking out against the woke left, and he was effective as somebody. I liked a few clips where he owned people, but he's not really such a serious intellectual. I think he's a good performer, but he's not like he wasn't consistent ideologically, because I don't think he knew that much.
So you felt gross because you felt like you were too chummy? Is that what you're saying?
I was trying to get a read. I had no idea what it would feel like face to face. The thing is, you have to realize, when you meet people in real life, it has a completely different quality than watching them on screen. And most people know all of these people through their internet avatars. So I kind of was just purely curious. What's Tucker like here? Because you also get a read of how people could maybe have blind spots for his behavior.
Right.
And if somebody has this provocative persona online that's, disgusting, and then even like the most evil people, like if you met Fuentes in person, he was like, hey man, I love your like if he was charming and nice, you would, and Lahavdil, people say, and this, I don't consider them similar at all, but like Donald Trump, for example, the biggest haters of Trump have a dinner with him and suddenly they're like, I think
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher was like, he was in, and like he has a charm. Also, I wanted to see if Tucker had that, just for my own.
And you felt he did not?
I think he did. I think he has this like, oh great, I love that.
Peggy Noonan said the same thing about when she met with Trump.
Right.
Very nice time we had.
Yeah, I've been doing a joke kind of like that in my act where I talk about like if I met Mondomini, he was nice to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I could talk bad about him because that's a problem with me.
Right.
If somebody's nice to me, so I have this whole joke about where's the line, and I go into like Mengele, like before he was a doctor in the Holocaust, if he had a patient who was Jewish that he was nice to. Like, do they say, look, I'm not going to talk nice about him, I'm not going to talk bad about him, he was good to me.
Yeah. Do you do shows to secular audiences too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of your Jewish stuff to secular audiences?
It depends how inside baseball it is. Sometimes requires some exposition, more jokes than others. But there's enough, political impressions that go across the board.
Right, that's true.
Israel stuff, if it's a pro-Jewish, non-Jewish crowd, but they're, maybe some stuff that's understood, I have to kind of move around or, let me tell you something about Israelis. And it's still funny because you're embodying characters of real life. And I find there's universality and specificity. It's Alex Edelman said that in some interview, and it's true. Like the more true you are to your experience, the more universal it is. Like they might not know who I'm talking about specifically, but Italians know what a big family meal feels like, and Shabbos is not that far from that, or family members. So there's parallels. There's sometimes you just have to do a little bit of matar. You have to be matar game. You got to translate a little bit so they can affiliate with what you're saying.
Right. So we should we both have shows to do tonight. So we're gonna have to. Where are you staying while you're in town?
I'm at a friend, local. Yeah.
What's her name? Just joking.
I have dreams about her. She finally came to life.
I understand.
Well,
it's good.
Ami, always really fun having you here, man. Thanks for coming in.
Great hanging.
I didn't even know you were Jewish before you came in.
I'm cosplaying. I might be Jewish, maybe. Who knows? I had a bris. It was awful. It was done by a demon.
And by the way, thank you for having me on your podcast. I had a lot of fun. I went to New Jersey to the Ami estate, and I did the Ami's House podcast.
Are you in Englewood?
Englewood, New Jersey. That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So thank God. Yeah.
Are you at the big shul, the giant shul there?
I grew up going to that one, and I go to a different one. So
you go to the one you don't go into anymore.
Right. Exactly. You know how it is.
All right. So
thanks for having me, boys.
Thanks for coming in. All right.
Tonight.
We think it's funny. We hope you did as well. Check them on. This isn't going to come out today, but have a great show tonight, guys.
And we have coming up Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
For the other side.
Right. He's gonna give the rebuttal.
What are we doing in a van? I live in a basement.
Oh my God!
Follow
Thank
us
you. This
on,
is so much fun.
On Instagram, on YouTube, on X, on all the different things. And you can write us at We Think It's Funny at podcast. We Think It's Funny podcast at gmail.com and say hi. Thanks everybody. Happy New Year. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.